Act as if. The secret to having delusional self-confidence. And this is a coaching lesson that many of you guys need, especially you guys who are lacking confidence, you're insecure with yourself, you have low self-esteem. You're going to want to pay attention today, because this is something that I infuse in my pickup and dating students whenever I take them out. And I get a guy who's particularly shy, a little overly nervous, socially awkward, and just cannot be himself. Okay, not only around, beautiful women, but just around people in general. He just can't, be himself. By the way, guys, I'm in San Francisco right now. Look at this shot of the city here. It's crazy. I'm visiting San Francisco right now. I'm actually in the Embarcadero in my old neighborhood, and just kind of strolling through. So let's jump into this. Okay, what do I mean by act as if? I mean, act as if you've got a dozen beautiful women waiting for you at home. Act as if you've got a fleet of Lamborghinis and Ferraris in your garage. Act as if you live in a $10 million home. Act as if you are king of the world, okay? And I'm not telling you guys to fake it till you make it or anything like that. In some ways I am, but there's a fine line with that, because the key to making this work is you want to act as if, right? Yet you want to actually be working towards these things, okay? Because when you have that magic combination of acting as if you're the man, you're the boss, you're the king, and you're actually working towards this shit, that is when you'll really start to feel it, and it'll feel genuine, and it won't feel like you're full of shit, right? But you need to start somewhere. And for most guys especially who we call hard case newbies, right, where they're just like so socially paralyzed that they don't know where to begin, right? We tend to give them this as a booster, as a confidence booster, right? And you have to think of like most guys' reality. Most guys' reality is walking around day to day, right, with all of that feminist indoctrination, all of that leftist brainwashing, telling them that they're no good because they're a man, they're rapists, right? You're a rapist, mister, you're toxic, you're violent, all this other stuff. They've grown up with such a lifetime of indoctrination that now, it's sad. I see so many guys in their head, right? Guys are literally in their head like I've never seen before. Guys are petrified about walking up to a girl and even saying hi. Is she gonna Me Too me? Am I gonna get Me Too'd if I just say hi? And I'm like, dude. Oh shit. Yo, that chick is hot, dude. Let's go back. That chick is like super, super hot. Anyway. She was just like, hey, hold on, I'm turning around, man. That chick is hot. Yeah, when you see something you want, you gotta go for it. Let's flip around. I want to get this girl. All right. Oh my gosh, it's the one way. Hey, that chick was like hot and wearing next to nothing. All right, let's turn back around here. We're in the financial district, by the way. Yeah, but we're still gonna be rolling with this coaching video. Dude, are there like hookers out here? I don't think, are these chicks hookers? Because that'll be a new one if they're like hookers out here. I don't know. But you have to start somewhere, guys. Especially if, you're somewhat of an introvert, right? If you're introverted and you're kind of shy and you're not good in social situations, you're not good with interacting with people, and you're just used to keeping to yourself, it's very easy to go inside your head and remain there, and then you never really get to experience the joys of life, of just feeling free to be yourself, right? You never feel like you could just let go, and you kind of like deprive yourself for no reason. I mean, you become your own worst enemy, and it really doesn't have to be that way. So when I'm taking out new students and we infuse them with this lesson to, create a delusional sense of self-confidence, part of that exercise is we tell the guys, like, hey, 3 days leading up to boot camp, okay, before your boot camp, okay, we tell them, first of all, no FAP. As you guys know, I'm all for no FAP, right? That shit lowers your testosterone, increases your estrogen. So first, no FAP. Second, we tell our students, for the next 72 hours before boot camp, we want you to act as if. We want you to walk around out there as if you are the boss, as if you are the man, as if you've got a dozen beautiful women waiting for you at home, as if you own a fleet of Lambos, as if you live in that $10 million home, right? So it's all as if. Oh shit, she's with, I don't know who she's with. I think that's like I think she's with her like her pimp or something. I didn't know that went on down here. I haven't been here for a while. I moved out of San Francisco a long time ago. At least this area I did. She was hot. You heard her. She was like, hey. I was like, all right. Anyway, okay. On with the coaching video. The one thing you guys have to understand is perception is reality, okay? Remember this. Perception is reality. If you saw a guy walking down the street in a policeman's uniform, you would just assume, hey, that's a cop, right? It's a cop. He's dressed as a cop. He must be a cop. If you saw a guy walking down the street wearing a suit and carrying a briefcase, you would be like, oh, that guy's a businessman, right? Guy works in corporate America or something. It's probably a lawyer or some shit like that, right? You would just assume, because perception is reality. If you saw a girl wearing high heels and, next to nothing and her tits were popping out, you'd be like, oh, the girl's probably a hoe, right? She's probably a slut, right? Because perception is reality. Right or wrong, perception is reality. And if you're a guy who's in your head constantly and you have low self-esteem and you don't believe in yourself and you are living with a lack of confidence and you're introverted and you're shy and you're nervous and you're socially awkward and you walk around like this, right, with your head down most of the time, guess what? People are going to see right through that and they're going to be like, oh yeah, that guy's retarded, man. That guy's friggin', yeah, he's beta. Right? I mean, that's just what people are going to think. Okay, they're just going to assume that. Maybe you're not, right? But people are going to assume that just based on their perception of you. And this is why, as part of a lot of my training programs, I teach students about body language, about how to walk like an alpha male, how to sit like an alpha male, how to order food like an alpha male, which I've been trolled about, right? But it's all true, right? It's all true. You got to keep your head high. Right? Whenever you're walking, your head's always up, chin up. Like just like your mom taught you. Chin up, mister. You want to keep your chin up. Eyes forward. Relaxed. Shoulders are relaxed. Man, I think these chicks are hookers. She's hot, man. These guys, seriously look like they're pimp. Yeah. You want to keep your shoulders relaxed. Okay? You want to pay attention to your voice tonality. Right? You don't want to be speaking in this soft, apologetic, unsure tone. Instead, you want to project your voice, right? You want to project your voice forward. It doesn't mean to be like, oh, hey, hi, hello, how are you? And then sound, because that will come off as incongruent. You'll sound, it'll sound weird. So you want to be congruent with who you are, but you want to project who you are. Okay? And you want to stop being so afraid of showing who you are, right? And just sharing who you are with other people, okay? Because that's part of the joy of being a human being. That's part of the joy of being alive, is you get to share who you are, and other people get to share with you as well, right? It goes back and forth. That's the joy of being human. Check this out, guys. We're by the... I call it the clock tower, but yeah, call it the clock tower. There goes a bus. And yeah, funny enough, I actually worked, my Fortune 100 job was right up the block here. Actually, I had a really great view of the Bay Bridge and the the clock tower and everything. So yeah, it was really cool. Kind of miss those days. I don't miss showing up for work though. I don't miss those 7 a.m. sales meetings. I don't miss it. But as I was saying, you know, perception is reality. So, you know, when it comes to your body language, when you're walking, you know, you want to make sure you're holding your head up high, right? Because a man who's holding his head up high, smiling, very important that you smile. Smiling, eyes are forward, it just shows that you're winning, right? It just tells the world like this guy is winning in life, right? But when you're like this and you want to look at anybody and you're just kind of like that, it tells people you're losing in life, you're failing in life, right? Because perception is reality. And, you know, just going back to what the exercise that we give students before boot camp about acting as if, we tell them, you know, for those 72 hours, act as if you're this guy, right? You're this confident, badass alpha male. Do that for 72 hours, okay? I don't care, you know, how much you have to bullshit yourself and how much you have to pretend. Just pretend you're playing a role for the next 72 hours. Like, say, you know, friggin' Michael Bay, director Michael Bay hired you for the next Transformers movie, and he's like, you're gonna be playing this badass alpha male confident guy, and you really need to get into your role, and so for the next 72 hours I need you to just pretend you're this guy. Walk around out there and be that guy. Pretend you're him. Okay, so we give that exercise to hard case newbie students, and the guys who actually do it and they buy in and they actually apply it, these guys are like a completely different person by the time they show up for the boot camp. They really truly believe in themselves. They really truly believe that they're this badass guy. And then now they're walking around with this delusional sense of self-confidence, and they do 1,000 times better on the boot camp than they would have if they didn't come in like that, right? They do 1,000 times better. They're fearless. They're not afraid to talk to people. They're not afraid to high-five girls. They're not afraid to spin girls around. They're not sitting there like, oh my God, what if she Me Too's me? They're not worried about that shit, right? But it all comes when you act as if, right? A lot of people, they see me do the claw on girls. If you don't know what the claw is, you know, go to my dating channel, the 33 Secrets, or I actually uploaded a video on my Instagram where I was reviewing the claw with one of the last girls that I used the claw on, that I successfully began dating, that I'm still dating right now. But she was gracious enough to let me interview her about it, and like, you know, how we met and how I clawed her. And so it's on my Instagram. It's pretty funny. You should watch it. But even in that situation where I met her and she was surrounded by 5 dudes, and I just broke through the 5 guys and went whoosh, claw, and pulled her away from them, and they're like, what the fuck happened? Who is this guy? They had no idea what happened. By the time they figured it out, I had left the venue with her. We were gone, right? What gives me the power to do something like that? What, right? I mean, who am I? Who am I to do something like that? How come I have such a delusional sense of self-confidence? Am I always that cool? No, right? I mean, I'm just like you. I get up in the morning and, you know, I'm not a morning person. I hate the mornings, and sometimes I just want to keep to myself. I'm a natural introvert, not an extrovert. Believe it or not, I'm naturally shy. You know, it just happens. So when I'm in those type of situations, I come on, right? It's just like I come alive. And I teach my students to do the same, you know, where you have that delusional sense of self-confidence. And you're able to just claw a girl like it's nothing. You're able to high-five a girl like it's nothing. You're able to grab her, spin her around, do an instant makeout. A lot of guys see me do instant makeouts with girls like it's nothing. What is giving me the power to do that? It's that delusional sense of self-confidence, because I am acting as if. When I'm walking up to that drop-dead gorgeous girl, okay, that dime piece, I'm not even talking about an 8 or 9. I'm talking about a straight-up dime piece, a 10, right? She's so hot, she makes you feel ugly, as Eddie Murphy used to say. You ever see that skit in Raw where he was like, fellas, you ever meet a girl that's so fine that she makes you feel ugly? And you're like, damn. Right? You're just like, shit, this girl is hot. So when I'm walking up to these girls, I'm acting as if, right? Acting as if. And this is an exercise that I want you to try as well, especially if you are lacking confidence, if you have low self-esteem, if you don't believe in yourself. Maybe you just, maybe you're going through a dry spell or a temporary funk where you might have just gotten dumped, right, by your girl, and your state has sunk, and you're no longer in state, and you're no longer feeling good about yourself. You're no longer feeling good in your own body, and you just need to pull yourself out. Try this exercise. Okay, just, try it for the next 72 hours. You might think to yourself, okay, I'm going to try it for like one day. The thing with trying it only for a day is it doesn't stick, and it kind of takes some practice to like really ingrain it into your head, like I'm the boss, I'm the man, I'm the badass, right? It takes more than 24 hours. So that's why I say do it for at least 3 days, at least 72 hours to really make it stick inside your head. Okay, just try that exercise. Go around acting as if. Stop walking around out there apologizing for your existence, apologizing for being a man. Just stop apologizing, period. And for the next 72 hours, act as if. Okay? Instead of walking at the normal, slow, apologetic speed that you normally walk at, walk faster. You notice when you walk faster, people get out of your way? Walk faster, okay? Walk faster, make people get out of your way, okay? And I also want you to pay close attention to your body language for the next few days. You'll notice your body language will shift. If you're really doing this exercise correctly, your body language will naturally just automatically shift. Your chest will be out, your head will be high, your chin will be up, you'll be smiling, you'll be walking around like you just own the place. Right? You'll be walking around like you own the place. And when you speak, your voice is just going to naturally project out. You're going to be like, whoa, I didn't even know I had that kind of power in my voice. Your voice is just going to project. And then when you speak, people are going to be like, paying attention to you. As opposed to before where they just kind of like, oh yeah, I heard you. Like semi-ignoring you, right? Like if you're ordering your Starbucks coffee, the barista's like, okay, yeah. Just treating you like you're just this piece of shit. But instead, you're like, hey, I want this. All of a sudden, she's like, okay, sir. She's calling you sir, right? She's like, it'll be right up, sir. You'll notice the shift in respect, right? The shift in respect. And it'll be very hard to go back to who you once were after that 72 hours. And even if you do kind of slip every now and then, you'll think back about how great it felt to act as if, right? And then you will constantly fix and adjust anytime you catch yourself slipping and acting beta, right? So I'm gonna wrap up here. That's all I have to say for tonight's coaching video as we pass the Bay Bridge. It's actually a pretty beautiful shot. All right, passing the Bay Bridge here, and actually gonna go under the bridge. Let's do that. You guys have ever been under the Bay Bridge? We're about to go under it right now. This used to be Gordon Biersch on the corner over here. I used to take all my dates here. Funny enough, all the waiters knew me. The waiters and waitresses like, Matt, another girl? It's another girl? 3 girls in 1 week. Yeah, there we go. Going right under the Bay Bridge. There we go. Yeah. They like the waiters and waitresses knew me, and they'd be like, this is the 3rd girl in the same week, and they're like, you're just ordering the same food, you're not even eating it anymore. I'm like, yeah, I know, it's just like become routine. It's crazy. So anyway, gonna wrap up here. Until next time, this is Matt Cross from Alpha Male Secrets. Don't forget to smash that like button below. Also hit the notification bell too, so that you are notified whenever I release a brand new coaching video here on YouTube. More importantly, guys, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. Really helps me out a ton when you guys subscribe, okay? Because YouTube is constantly changing their algorithm, and they're constantly unsubscribing people from channels like mine in particular, because they don't like what I'm teaching you guys. They don't like that I'm teaching you guys how to be better men, right? Please make sure you subscribe to my channel, and also share my coaching videos with your buddies and like-minded friends and like-minded coworkers and family members, so we could really start creating a movement here and getting more guys on board and getting more guys red-pilled and unplugging more guys from the blue pill matrix. It helps everybody out when you share red pill content like this, when you share coaching videos like mine, okay?